A Florida State University program in interdisciplinary computing production.
All right, so what do we have in our lesson today? We have to go back to our community site here somewhere. In here, I think it is. What we're going to be studying today is, in the Lessons tab, Information Architecture. Anybody have a clue what information architecture is all about? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? The architecture of information. I thought we can do a little exercise to get into this, because exercises or a little collaborative work is more fun than watching PowerPoints. Although we will watch PowerPoint in the last 15 minutes of class. I'm probably going to spend a good 30 minutes just playing around today and talking about information architecture. And we're going to use PowerPoint, and we are going to design a website today. All right, one of my favorite pizza joints in town, Momo's. Friday night at my house, we call it pizza night. Dad brings home Momo's for the family, and we pig out pizza night, movie night. How many of you guys know Momo's? Yeah, of course. Well, if you don't, you need to check it out. They don't pay me to say that. I keep asking them for free pizza. I tell them, hey, I'm always talking about you guys in class. So I'm not even going to look at Momo's website, because makes it too easy. What we want to do is design a website for Momo's. All right? You guys ever order pizza online nowadays? So what we want to do, and I could use a whiteboard for this. There's all different kinds of brainstorming techniques, but we can be thought to be a team of web designers. And also we have representation from Momo's here, and we want to decide what this website is going to do. So what are our goals for a Momo's website? You want to give me some ideas what your goals would be? Sell pizza. All right. Yeah, well, that's the business goal. How are we going to use a website to sell pizza?
Provide a location and maybe a menu.
All right, so we want to provide information, right? What else might this website do for Momo's? Yep.
Online orders.
Online orders. All right, what else might be here? So taking online pizza orders, providing information about the business location and menu. Yes?
Making it user-friendly so they can easily order. They have order online.
All right, well, that's part of our online ordering system. We're not going to get any more detailed about what that system's going to do right now. I'm thinking just in general terms, what kind of services can this thing provide? I saw a hand over here first.
I was going to say, talk about, about Momo's, but
No, I kind of like that. So let's change this to, let's go, maybe we will go a little bit further in here. So this is location information, right? About. Oh, but you did the fingers, didn't you? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so about. And this might include a history, right? Let people know what a fine organization it is. What other information might this page provide? A menu, thank you. What else we got?
Reviews.
Reviews. I like that idea. What else we got? We got that location information as the first one. Let's change this to location and contact. Right. What about, we think about pizza places as you go grab a pizza. Yes?
Another higher level bullet might be like coupons or something.
Coupons? Coupons and deals? Some kind of deals? Yes.
under information, probably photos or something, to show the atmosphere.
Yeah, pretty important. But with Momo's, I don't know. No, the place has a lot of character, right? Okay. Other ideas? Yes.
A place to, what's it called, comments,
So like,
comments about your experience.
Okay,
complaints.
kind of like a blog or something. Yeah, you don't want to probably publicly post the complaints.
No, I
It's
just
just submitting?
Yeah,
Submitting?
like to submit a comment to the company.
Okay.
No, yeah, not like.
Post to our page.
Complain here.
Right. So you are in the pizza business. Other than selling to individuals, how might you expand your business to provide further services to the community? Anybody? Catering. Excellent idea. I didn't even think about that one. So this could be another big bullet. Catering, and what else is kind of combined with catering? You know, hosting parties, things like that, right? Yes.
Another one is like what time they open and close and stop doing deliveries.
Okay. Location. Hours of operation. This is great. I kind of clumped that all on one page, you know, but no, I'm not going to, because really, you want your hours of operation like right out front. You don't want to have to click and go find their location page. You want it right up front. Online orders, coupons, deals, catering, parties. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, good. Now, we were talking about online orders, and you had some ideas about how to make it easier.
Just like making it more user-friendly for people that aren't used to ordering online.
So this is almost, you know, just a best practices kind of deal. You want to make sure that and we talked about universal, you know, accessibility, and that's certainly something that we talked about last week. Good point. All right, what else we have on our page? Anything else we can think of?
Link it up to like social networks, maybe Twitter.
Oh, I love that.
Facebook.
Great job. Yeah, exactly. Get a Facebook like button on there, and then all of a sudden you're creating a Facebook page for your business. Now you're obligated to start tweeting, things like that. Really, when you get into this, it turns into a full-time job, doesn't it? And what else are we missing here? I'm trying to think.
Maybe like the types of credit cards they accept or something, like payment type.
That would be under the online orders. All right, we're getting smaller and smaller. What else? Anything else we're missing?
I don't know what kind of place it is, because I don't know that, but.
It's a pizza place.
From the events or something like that.
Yeah. How about like a newsletter or something? Momo's ought to start having music. Put your band schedule up or something.
Yeah, I guess if they do stuff for the community, or if they're going to be like at a
Yeah.
the Friday, like the football, like
Right.
on Fridays they have that thing downtown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be coming events. That works. All right. A simple pizza place has turned into a fairly sophisticated website, I would say. Wouldn't you? So the next, what you do is after you figure out this, we've just taken kind of an inventory of the information we want to provide in a general. You know, this is information. It hasn't been placed into an architecture yet. It's just an inventory list of what we want to do with our website. Of course, each of these has specifics, you know, the actual information that goes into the page. So what would you think the next step is in our web development process? Okay, we know we have a list of what we want to have on our website. Now what do we do next? Organize it. Right. And so at this point, there's a high likelihood, I don't know, I thought that would be nice and clear, but apparently not. That's all right. I can still work some magic. All right. There's a high likelihood that you're going to do something with this little button right here. And so we have all this smart art to work with. So let's do something like this. You ever mess with this stuff? So this is our home page. Okay, and now we want to decide what goes on our first order of menus, right? So we're going to have our home page, our Momo's page, may include some of this information. We would have to decide what goes in there. But essentially, we want to kind of organize this. Now, you'll notice I've kind of organized it already, right? Bulleted lists are a great way to start designing a hierarchical organization. So we have our general information. So we might change this to be our home page for the site. And now we're kind of looking at how are we going to group this organization into logical units, right? So when we're looking at a website and we're looking at a menu across the top of the website, which one of these items do you think would deserve its own tab or its own page? Location, contact information? Yeah, right. So this is on the web page. So for instance, this is my website for my program. These are the main categories of things that I have to link off to. We're trying to figure out what are these categories for this pizza place. Okay. We'll just call it deals. It takes up less room. What would be like the first link? Menu. That's probably the most important thing people go to look for, right? A menu of some sort. Now we have to decide: could deals be part of the menu? Yeah, I think so too. Now that we think about it, I mean, we didn't consider this, and I don't know how to do this. Let's see how we do this. Oh, I know. Up in the menu here.
Maybe on the gray box, that green arrow that comes down.
Oh,
No, on the right of the gray box.
oh, on the right of this one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Ooh, that was cool. They put it over. I think this is it. Ooh, that's good. It's good to know these things. All right, so we have the same thing going here. We have a bolded list here. So we want to indent this. There you go. Look at that. I just hit tab and it did it. So this is going to be deals underneath here. All right, let's deal with our top line of this architecture. So what, after menu, what might you have? This is our choices. There's going to be an about. I'm not sure that's the second thing we would want. Well, think about websites you've been to. Where does about typically come in? Yeah, sort of last. I mean, if we go to www.levis.com, just because that's what's popped out of my head, you got, they want to sell products. It's all about selling stuff. You can't even see it about.
Yeah, most people don't even care about what they're ordering.
Right.
That's just like an extra thing.
Yeah. Typically, it's even at the bottom of the page somewhere. I mean, it is important for a pizza place maybe to give a sense of the quality and the history of the organization, but I don't think I'd put it second. What's the second most important thing you might want to do? Pardon me? Location? How about online ordering? Now, but would that be a top-level link, or would it be off of the menu page? Yeah, I think I would too. now that we think about it. All right, about may end up being our second link. All right, so we're still dealing here. What else did we have? Our location.
And hours.
Okay, so so this is kind of 2 pages we're talking about, right? We're talking about or history or something like that. Us. And this could be location, but it wants to be it should be about contact us as well. Maybe these can all be connected somehow. Get out of here, Levi's. What else do we talk about? So we talked about newsletter, coming events. So maybe we're looking at something like this, our about. Maybe we can go ahead and put location here, newsletter here.
But I mean, like location, people want, if they're gonna pick up the pizza, they have to know where it is.
Yeah, you think that needs a separate page? History can be here. So how many people think location should have a page of its own?
Well, I guess it depends how many branches there are. If there's only one, then I would make it the home page.
Just put it on the opening page. Yeah.
If you keep the page as simple as possible, we only got 3 selections to choose from.
Right, and this could be a menu where if you hover over in the menu, it just automatically drops down.
Yeah, I just don't think people should be having to search for it if they're
Yeah.
wanting to go.
Well, let's think about some of these things because we have to decide what goes on this homepage, this Momo's homepage. Yes.
I think what it should have is on every page, really on the side, is a little
Sidebar,
like the location
location and
and the hours.
the hours.
On every page.
Yeah, and the phone number. I like that. So it's consistent across the page. So we could include yeah, location, contact information could go on every page. We didn't even think about that, about how we would represent that in this type of maybe we can you do a side? No, probably not. We would just have to define this at a different level. But as we go into here, we also had reviews, photos, so all kinds of stuff can go in this about page. And what does that have left?
Under venue, you should put have your pay.
Right. Yep, good point. Let's see if I can do that. And what occurs here, look at that, I did it. Not exactly what we had in mind, though. Interesting how it broke it out. No, that's right. Actually, that's a pretty good organization there. I like that. So does anything else go in the front menu here? Let's take a look. So we got online orders, coupons, deals. We already did that. Catering and parties. That could be a whole separate area because not everybody's going to want to know that. Just select people. And employment. Get to your hand over there. I see it. Let's see. There's the button, the blue arrow. Let's see if we learn how to use PowerPoint at the same time. Yes. Yeah.
Because like some people like know what they want.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they
All right.
What if you, could you put them like both, like there could be a link at the top, but it brings you actually to that page?
Yeah, exactly. So, so what we're saying here is that order can be here, and there can be a link going from the menu to the order, right? I mean, so this doesn't have to be a hierarchy, a pure hierarchy. There can also be links going across pages as well. That makes a lot of sense to me. And and also the catering page could have a link to ordering, right? That makes a lot of sense. Now, then we got this whole area over here. Now, we talked about social networks. I think those can be on the main page, the like buttons and that kind of stuff. We talked about submitting comments. Okay, I keep doing that. That would probably be off the main menu as well. I think this would be contact us. And we talked about employment, contact us. So those can be links. They might not be at the main menu bar, but they might be at the footer of the page, things like that, depending on their importance. All right, so this is how we establish an information architecture, right? We figure out what we want on the site, and then we go in and we organize it, or we do what we call chunking information. For instance, this About Us page, it might have been one long page that includes everything about us, location, our history, reviews about us, but we decide that, you know, each of these things is its own item, and that page is going to get awfully long if you have it on one page, so we pull it out into separate pages. It's a technique called chunking. All right, and from this point, we would start defining exactly how our pages are related to each other. This is our general information hierarchy, and you know, we would look up at this first row of menus, or this first level of the hierarchy, where we have the menu, ordering, catering, about us, employment, and contact us. Actually, I feel pretty good about those topics. And we do have them in order of importance. You know, even though they're in the same order, they have some type of importance level from left to right. All right, so from this point, where do you think we would go? What will we do after this? Where we establish what pages we want, and we kind of establish the information architecture, the hierarchy. And we decide, we generally have a general sense of what's going to link to what. So what do you think the next step would be?
Gather the information that you're going to put on the pages.
Probably not yet. You don't want to probably start gathering information yet. But at this point, I think you would probably start dividing your effort. Have some people developing the content for the pages, while other people are doing what? Starting to design the pages, right? They're saying, all right, let's figure out what our page is going to look like. How are we going to do our menu? And you'll notice that as we drew out our information architecture here, we've kind of logically organized this, but we're also kind of defining what our menus are going to be. And some of these menus might be drop-down menus. Some of them might be just one click and you go to one page. And what you don't realize is we're also defining how things are going to be stored on the server. And so as we get into this, the design, the information architecture, how things are stored on the server, they're all kind of connected. And so on our server, we're going to have a folder called Momos, you know, our main website folder. And in that folder, we're going to have a folder called About. You know, and inside the About folder, we'll have a bunch of pages. An About page, a location, a newsletter page. The files on our server are going to be in this same type of order as we've drawn out here. That's the toughest part for a lot of students in this class.
For more information about FSU's program in interdisciplinary computing, visit www.pic.fsu.edu.